Hello, hello.
Hi all. So while we are waiting for everyone to join, feel free to already look at the first prompt for the session, for today's session, and let me know what is your favorite element by dragging your cursor on one of the pictures and just clicking so you can see your icon there.
Fabulous. We're already getting some answers. Feel free to get comfortable, adjust your setting, enjoy the music that we're playing. You can control the volume of that locally on your computer with the menu at the bottom of your screen. Use the chat to say hello as well. And yeah, get settled in. I think everyone is ready to start. Give me a thumbs up if you are, or any reactions so that we know that we're good to go. Amazing, amazing. Looking at your answers here, we have a lot of water and earth people. Not as much air and fire though. But keep those answers coming in case you haven't checked your preference. I'm going to leave that just a second more on the screen. We got a new fire. Awesome. All right. I'm going to quickly ask you right now to take a look at this butter scale as well and just share your experience with this video conferencing tool. Let's see if you're all familiar with this app so that you know where to find all the buttons. Okay, I have some pros, we have some newbies as well. So I'm just going to give you a quick intro just so that you can know what to expect. You have the React button in the menu on the left side panel of your screen. Those are all the options that you're going to need for today's session. So say hello with an emoji or any reaction that you can see there. Amazing, thank you. If you've got something to add, you can use the Q button. You can add a comment or have a question, ask a question if you'd like, or an idea. Just press that button so that we can give you the mic. You can use the chat throughout the whole session to share your thoughts and opinions with us. And if you want to take notes, you can use the button at the left side panel as well. You will have private notes and shared notes as well. The M key is to mute and unmute, and the V key is to turn on and off your camera. There you go. I think you are all set up for success and you know what to do. Give me another reaction. Amazing. Thank you. Okay. All right, now that we have that covered, let me just introduce myself. I'm Andrea. I'm a coach and trainer and a core team member of the Butter community, where I run the Sandbox initiative with Madeeha and Teresa. And as you probably know, the Sandbox gives us the chance to play around with different tools and ideas. It's our playground where we get to learn from each other, get feedback on our facilitation skills with the fellow community members. And these events are recorded so that we can make learning accessible to as many people as possible. And it's been a while since our last Sandbox, so I'm super excited to be here with you all today. Be open, be eager, and open to experiment with us, to play around with different tools. Our host for today is Kateřina Di Marco. Besides being a mother of a 2-year-old, she's also an embodiment coach and facilitator, founder of Pause to Move, and passionate about creating possibilities that empower people. She firmly believes that by connecting to our bodies, we can deepen connection with ourselves and others, and ultimately making the world a better place. Her facilitation is rooted in the body-oriented practices and the expressive arts approach, which help her connect people around topics that matter in a meaningful way. So Katka, I can't wait to see what you have in store for us today and for our bodies as well. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for the introduction, Andrea, and also thanks to Butter for giving us this platform and for me to supporting me hosting the session. And thanks to all of you for showing up, spending the next 40, 50 minutes with me. As Andrea said, I'm Katka. I'm a facilitator and embodiment coach, and my mission is to bring more movement into learning experiences. And this is exactly what we are going to do today. So expect we will be moving in the space, and we will be looking at your facilitation style through embodiment. Now, embodiment is kind of a buzzword, but I don't want to go into definitions. I think the single fact that you're here means that you have some notion of what it is and probably some expectations as well. And I'm also hoping this session will clarify it for you, or you will come up maybe with a different idea or just a confirmation of your idea of what it is and how it can be helpful for us. And since embodiment is also about consciously relating to our environment and to each other, I would like to invite you to turn your camera on, because the session will be different if you will see faces on the screen or if not. So if you can do so, turn the camera on. That being said, we will be also moving and we will be quite expressive. So if at any point you feel uncomfortable, no worries, it's your free will. Just shut it down, and whenever you feel comfortable again, turn it on. And the last practical note, have a piece of paper and a pen ready, because there will be some reflection part. You can also use the notes of Butter notes that you have on the left side of the screen. There is a pen icon, and if you click on it, you can write personal notes that will be sent to you after the session by email, so you can use it for journaling during the session. And thinking about the practical, I think we have it covered. So I would like to invite all of you now to arrive here properly, not just in our mind, but also our body, by doing a simple exercise. And if you can, stand up with me. And imagine that you just took a shower, but you don't have a towel. So your body is wet and you just want to shake all the water off. So imagine it's all over you and you just want to shake that water out. And with shaking the water out, you can also imagining you're shaking away everything that you don't need for today's session, whether it's some thoughts, ideas, fears, expectations, whatever that is, shake it away. You can also do a horse sound. It's like letting the air go from your mouth, getting rid of anything that is not needed. And slowly stopping, bringing your body back to the stillness, finding a center, finding a balance, standing firmly on your feet, and bringing your attention back to the screen. And noticing if there is some face that attracts you, or if you just maybe unconsciously looked at one person, and come back to the screen, sitting down, and keep an eye contact as much as it's possible in this virtual space with that person. Looking at them, just being present with them for the next 30 seconds without doing anything. And just noticing, how does it feel? What do you do in your body? Do you maybe have a tendency to copy that person, to respond them in some way? Or are some thoughts coming up, some ideas? And feel free to follow also your instinct. Whatever your body wants to do, you're free to do that. All right. Okay. Nice. You can give a smile to that person by saying, imagining you're saying bye. And come back, noticing all the other faces that are in the room. Hello. So this was a very short exercise that I hope it allowed you to get a little bit more present. So and also a bit more ready for the practice that will come up. And this is the practice that I think you're here for. That's the 4 elements practice that I promised to show you. And before we go in it, again, with our bodies and with the movement and posture and breathing, just a small intro. So the 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and air, are quite present all around us, right? In the nature, we see them, we experience them daily. And they are also used historically and culturally to somehow describe the energies that we might be holding in our bodies, the energies that we might be showing to others. And the 4 elements model has been used in shamanism historically. It's also Carl Gustav Jung's space for his archetypes. You could have met it in Buddhism or Chinese medicine. They're all like different forms and concepts and methods. The model that I'm going to share with you today is an embodiment model that I learned with Mark Walsh in the embodiment coaching course. And it's very simple. And I love it because it's very intuitive. Because I think that without big explanations, each of us can somehow get it in a very short time. And this is kind of a hypothesis that I want to test today. And before we go in, I want to ask you now if you know any idioms or any sayings that include the 4 elements that describe personality or personal characteristics. You can write them down in the comments. An example could be, he has had his head in the clouds, or, oh, she's a very down-to-earth person, or he's super passionate and it's a burning fire. So are there any other sayings or any other elements that are connected with a personal characteristic that you can think of? He has fire in him, blood is thicker than water. Ice cold, nice. Fiery personality, solid like a rock. Yeah, flying in the sky. Heavier feet on the earth, so being quite stable. Pragmatic, okay, here in French. Go with the flow. Okay, so flow like a water. Feel like water, yeah. Keep your head above the water. To have maybe a bit of a, not to be too much in, right? To be above, not to be taken away with the water. Full of hot air. Airy fairy, yeah. A breath of fresh air, yeah. Airy people are quite refreshing. They bring this spirit as well. Nice. Super. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And we will now go deeper in it. So the invitation is that for the next 8 minutes, we will discover the 4 elements again through movement. So we will stand up and I will be guiding you through each of the elements for about 2 minutes or so. And your only task is to follow me. You can follow my voice. You can also look at me to get a bit more of an impression or a clue of what to do, and to do it with me. So as much as you can. It's possible that some things I will be doing will be quite uncomfortable, but I challenge you to do it because this unfamiliarity also allows you to experience something new. Of course, if there is something that you really don't feel like doing, then. And there will be also a few moments when I will ask you to walk or maybe look around. So don't worry, don't look all the time on the screen, but just follow the voice. I think this should be clear enough. Before we do that, do you have any question? Yeah, Andrea?
I wanted to give you a thumbs up that everything is clear. Okay.
Anyone, any clarifying question before we move together for the next 8 minutes or so? Okay, Let's do it then. So I invite you to stand up again. And don't worry if there is a lot of space or little space, you can do it within the limits of your room. And we will start with earth. So bring your feet firmly to the ground. And imagine that you have roots that are going deep, deep, deep in the earth. So nothing can shake you. You're pretty solid. Lengthen your spine, looking in front of you, having a peripheral vision. Imagine you're majestic, like a mountain. Notice your breath and slow it down. Make it slow and heavy. Imagining you're breathing through your belly into your feet. All down to the roots. How often do you feel this stability, this solidity when facilitating, when coaching, when doing your work? This sense of firmness. And now we will do a step forward together. But before you do it, just have a look at the space in front of you and think where you want to place your feet. Make a plan. And then slowly lift your feet, really, really slowly. Place it in that spot. And only when you place it there, shift your weight and make the step forward, really slowly. I see some of you rushed into it a bit, so go even slower. Look where you want to go, make this plan, place the feet, shift your weight. Earth is an element that plans ahead, that doesn't take much risks, and that has a pretty solid plan. So while doing this, walking front and backwards and on the side, think how much you plan your sessions, how prepared are you, how much you follow your plan, and how much time you take. Are you liking this slowness, this taking time, or is it super uncomfortable and you just want this to finish? You can stop, stand again and bring your fingers in front of you. And with your fingers, we will draw a square in the air, very precise square. Earth is also a very precise and structured element. Drawing that square very slowly, 90 degrees. Think of how structured are your sessions, how structured are you when facilitating. How precise are you when giving instructions? And now bring your attention to the screen. You can pick a person and you want to bow as a samurai, showing respect. Earth is an element of tradition, of dignity, of respect. Okay, let's shake Earth off. And now each of the elements we are exaggerating a little bit to see how it goes in extreme. So just notice how familiar it was, comfortable, uncomfortable, if it was something you long for or rather something you want to get rid of. Okay, and let's go with the water. So standing again, but this time we will start shifting your weight from one leg to another, from left to right. And let your body follow the rest of the body. The hips, the chest, the head. Let it resonate. Water is an element of resonance. It's flowy, it's soft. You can make a sigh. Feeling this softness in your whole body. And bringing your arms up in front of you. Imagine these arms are seaweeds flowing on the water, being carried by the ocean, just following. Earth is following, it's being carried, water is following, being carried away. Water is flowy, it's soft. but it also has struggles to choose a direction because it's maybe following way too much. It's soft, it's gentle. It struggles to set boundaries. Think of how much you're a listener when you're facilitating and how much you're the one who leads. And again, bring attention to the screen. You can choose one person and now try to just copy what that person does. Because water is this following element. It's also a lot about connection. So you can try to connect to that person and think how easy it is for you to connect to someone, to follow their lead, to copy what they are doing. Okay, let's shave water off. Okay. We will go into fire. This is the most active, lively element. Also, I would say the most radical one. So let's just start breathing with our upper chest, like really deep inhales and exhales. Really feeling the fire creating in your chest. Okay, bring your palms to your chest and think of something you're super excited about and say, hell yeah! You can say it loud with me. Wow, hell yeah! Wow! Hell yeah! Wow, I love it! What is it that you love? What is it you're excited about? And is it easy for you to scream like that? Yeah! Yes, nice. Now bring your palm in front of you. This is the clarity. Fire is super clear. It's there, it's clear, we see it. And it's this way. Do this movement with me. It's this way, and it's not this way. You can also say it loud. It's this way, not this way. It's this. It's not that. How easy it is for you to set direction, be clear about what you want, and also say no. Fire is also about setting boundaries. So do it with me. No. And also say it if you can. No. How easy it is for you in your sessions to say no to people. No. Or to set clear boundaries when setting timelines or talking to customers. No. The last thing, bring your palms to your chest and just think about something you're super passionate about. It's about pleasure. It feels good. How often also you bring this aspect in your work, this inner passion, inner drive of what you really, really love. Okay, take the fire off. Notice how it was. It was difficult, easy, familiar or not. And the last one, air. So you can imagine that you're walking on a high line, on this like road between two skyscrapers, on your tippy toes, walking there, in the air, not being afraid of taking risks. And also looking at everything that is down there with a sense of wonder. Wow, you can also just like, wow, look at there, these tiny people, these tiny little humans. I wonder what they are doing. You can also look around your room and notice things you don't normally notice and have this sense of wonder. Wow, 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 wow. How often do you let yourselves to be surprised or come up with these children eyes? Wow. And coming to the screen, there is this trickster element. So do a little bit of a wiggle to someone in there. A little bit funny face. Do you feel silly? How often do you judge yourself when you're in front of people? And think of one color, a color that you really like, and dip your tongue in that color and write your name on the screen with that color, with your tongue. Okay. And imagine you do it in your sessions when facilitating. Does it feel ridiculous? Are you fine with it? How often do you do something silly like that? Okay, shake it off. Shake the air. Okay. Take a minute just to come back to you, to your natural way of being. You can come back to the screen. Arrive. So I'm curious, after you have this experience, coming back to the previous or screen that we had at the very beginning when I asked you what is your favorite element, but now having this embodied experience, I would like to ask you what is your core element, but by that I mean the element that felt most comfortable in your body when we were doing it. The element that felt somehow familiar, that you felt like, okay, I could be with this for another 1 hour or even the whole day doing these movements. And yeah, let me know what it is by clicking on the pictures on the screen. Okay, so we have some fiery people, nice, because that's not a super common element, or at least I don't know so many fiery people, so nice to see that some of them are here. Little air, a lot of water. Water is very, I would say, facilitators-like, because it's a lot about listening, following earth. And also if you struggle, if you're like, oh, I'm 2 or I'm 3, pick the one that you feel like that is showing the most at your work as a facilitator, as a coach, as a trainer. Okay. So we have just one air. Otherwise, we have quite a nice mix. Super. So there I have 2 other prompts, and now it's the time for your notebook and for your journaling. It's reflecting for the next 2 minutes after I start playing the music of how does this element, this core element of yours show up in your work as a facilitator, or if you have another role at your work in general, and what are its strengths and weaknesses when facilitating. So how you can benefit from that, and maybe when it's a bit too much. An example could be fire is this like lively, very clear, very directional, which can be useful, but it can also be seen as aggressive or too pushy. So think of these nuances as well. Okay. I will start the music. You will have 2 minutes to have a self-reflection, writing the notes down. And you can see the prompts on the screen. So how does this element show up in your facilitation work? And what are its strengths and weaknesses in facilitation of this core element that you picked that is the most familiar to you? Okay. So you can slowly stop. If you didn't manage to write everything now, don't worry, you can do it after the session. And we are also going to continue in the same kind of a discussion or reflection now. But this time in the breakouts. So what we are going to do now is that I will send you in the breakouts room with Andrea's help according to the element. So you will be put together with people who have the same core element as you. So we will have a group of fiery people, a group of earthy people. I know there was one person who is an air, but Andrea can go with you, so you will not be alone. And in the breakouts, you will have got it. The mirror
Sorry,
board.
by the way, can you put me with water? I'm sorry.
Yes. Can you could you give us your name? Sorry, because I didn't see who was talking.
It's Romy. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
It's Romy.
Okay.
It's
okay.
Romy.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we put Romy in the water. Okay. But you were not the air person, right? The only air person. It was not you.
I'm an air, and I'm a water and a fire person here.
Okay. So what will happen in the breakouts is you will have the same mirror board that you can see here, and you can work on it together as a group, just sharing what are the strengths and weaknesses of your element. Having a conversation, and then when you agree on things, or when you have ideas, putting on the green sticky notes the strength, and on the red sticky notes the weaknesses. You will start this activity when you are put in the breakouts. And it might take a few minutes for Andrea. If you, I see some people already using the mirror, so if you want, you can start already now. But the idea is also to have a conversation with your partners in the breakout rooms. You will be a group of 4 or 5. Andrea, you will start the breakouts, right? I'm ready. Cannot hear you. I think you're muted.
Where can we find the post-its? Sorry, this is Liz.
To take me another 20 seconds to assign everyone to their breakout. So feel free to roam through the Miro board, gather your thoughts in the meantime, and I will start the breakouts when I've assigned all of you. But I do have some, so I'm not sure I have a place for Michelle. Michelle, if you can speak up or put your preference in the chat. Irene and Gordana. That would be great.
And Liz, don't you see the mirror board in front of you? It should be visible to everyone in the session right now, unless you're joining from some browser that doesn't support it. You should be joining from Chrome.
I see it, but I don't see the. So I was able to put a sentence, but not on a post-it. I will probably find out how to do it.
Yeah, or someone else in the group will be like when you join the breakout, then you can also pick one person for whom it is available. And if not, also no stress. The mirror board is for us to have it documented after the session, but it's also mainly about reflecting with other people. So if there are any tech issues with the mirror board, it's not a problem at all.
Okay, I just found it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, and you can use also examples from your own experience, like knowing really what are your strengths and weaknesses, and also just whatever else comes to your mind. Maybe you know it is not your weakness, but you know it could be potentially a weakness for earth or for air or for fire. So feel free to edit there as well. The breakouts haven't started yet, so I don't know who was the person who asked, but no worries, nobody is there yet. We are so working collectively on the board for now. And I will try to see if I can also share the link of the board with you in the chat. Give me a second. Hello, welcome back.
Now, was that fire or water going back?
So,
It was just too short.
conversations. I cannot hear you, Robbie. I see you talking, but I cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me? Okay, that's strange. Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay.
Okay.
It was a nice experience, but it was a little bit too short.
Now I can hear again. I'm having some delay with the lyrics. So whatever has been said until now, I haven't heard.
So it was a bit short, Romy, right? I think you were in the water group. And there were how many? 5 or 6 people there.
So need for more time.
Yeah, that was the largest group that we had. So yeah, maybe that was also because of that.
One person was not able to say to participate.
Yes.
Showing
Yes.
group or standing still was also possible.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think this is my biggest struggle. There's never enough time, indeed. And even for today, I planned one more activity to do with you, and we have 13 minutes left. So what I would propose to make it a little bit shorter, and also then having time for some feedback, because this is a sandbox session and it's really experimental. This is the first time I'm running it. It's really just to test if it resonates, if it can be somehow helpful or not. And I want to leave 10 minutes at the end for that, to give to hear your feedback and whatever experience you had, just a reflection on it. For the next 2 minutes, I would give time to you again, to your paper, to your pen, and let you reflect on 2 more questions. One, what is the element that is the least familiar to you, and how could it expand your facilitation style if you had it? So what is the least familiar, the most unknown element that you're not using, and how could it actually help you or expand your facilitation style? And if you have time, what body-oriented practice could support you? And you can really think of what we did at the beginning. It can be something super simple as like, okay, before the session, I just want to get a bit loose and like flow a bit. Or I want to practice no. So I feel like more empowered to also stop people in my session. What could be this like simple gesture, simple movement that can be helpful for you to practice daily or before your session, when preparing for the session, to get this element a bit more present when you facilitate? I give you 2 minutes for this, and then we will reunite and have some group reflection. You can take your pen and paper, or again use Butter Notes for that. Right. So yeah, this is there could be another breakout or another discussion, but we are going coming towards the end, and I am super curious on how did it go, and yeah, if somehow this session fulfilled what I imagined. So I would have one more question for you before we start discussing, and this is if you could let me know in the poll what has been today in this session facilitated for you? What has been made easy for you in this session? And you can write whatever comes in. If nothing, please feel free to share it with me as well. Because if this didn't make any sense, I completely accept it and also welcome it, because then I will not waste any more time on doing something similar in the future. Mm-hmm. Dancing in the moment, I love it. Yeah, shifting perspective. Nice. Connecting with other people. Being authentic. Also getting to know different aspects. I think this is one of the strengths of this model, is that it allows you to somehow enter into other person's shoes, in a way, to also experience how different things can be. Not only thinking about it, but really doing it differently. Moving body, simply, yeah. And shifting this busy mind into being in the body. And that's what the embodiment is about. No, like Mark Walsh said, it's about being aware as a body, not of our body. So it takes away this dominance of the mind and really feeling as we are, complex being, including the flesh. Thank you, Sabrina. See you somewhere later. Okay. Super. Thank you so much for sharing these reflections with me. And for the last 5 minutes or so, I really would like to just invite you to unmute yourself and share in general how this was for you. Maybe more specifically of what worked and what didn't. What could I improve? Giving me feedback that I could use to do this better next time, with having a group of facilitation as a target audience, facilitators as a target audience in mind.
Your question, Katka, sorry.
If you could share with me how this could be further improved, and maybe highlight what worked well and what didn't work well. So if you were a consultant and you wanted to tell me how to improve this session, what should I do?
I must start. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I had some issues. I very much enjoyed the whole session. I would like to have a little bit more space for breakout. It would be good to do it on the 4 elements. I think I imagine to have a workshop on these 4 elements and to do breakout session to every element, that every person can experience every element. And perhaps going on with the most liked element, then through all the players. I think it's a very good experience, and even to learn from. I think breakout room are always so much about learning from each other and see it from another angle. Yes, that's it. But I liked it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Romy. Yeah, I agree. More time for you to be with each other and sharing using this collective wisdom, right? Thank you.
Thanks, Katka. Sorry, someone's got the...
Valeria, and then Justin. Yeah, Valeria? You're muted. Yeah. Yes?
Here?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Here? Yep. Katka, first of all, thank you very much for the session and also for the tips you share regularly, weekly on your LinkedIn page. Helps a lot, and as you know, I also use them on one of my sessions. What can be improved when you set to reflect which of the aspects worked less for us or was less familiar for us? It was difficult to recall which elements refer to what, to water, earth. So if a short recap, what means what would help. Otherwise.
Thank you so much. Yeah, valuable feedback to remind what we did now, to be able to reflect on it further. Thank you, Valerie. And Justin, you had some feedback as well, right? You're muted. Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for leading us through that, facilitating that. Slightly uncomfortable for me in bits, but I think that's to be embraced. What I was thinking was, I wonder if it would be useful is knowing to explore a question, which is which of those particular elements is useful to embody when doing certain parts of facilitation. So is there one which is useful for a particular activity or another? When do we need to be more like water? When do we need to be more like earth or fire? Was something that I was sort of playing with, but it was good fun and I enjoyed it. I also learned a lot about myself too.
Good. But I really love this idea of to really think like when specifically we can activate some of those elements to be helpful in certain situations, like intro, conflict, engaging people. No, really nice. Food for thought. Maybe for another session. Thank you, Justin. And thanks to everyone who's also commenting in the chat. I truly appreciate it. Okay, maybe a last one, and then we can say goodbye. Hey, Liz. Yeah.
Just thank you, because I was not expecting, I was not ready. I mean, I came in a rush, etc., and that was a pause, and it was really nice. I had technical issues, so I don't know. I felt rushed the whole time. I didn't really have time to think about each element. And I would allow more time just to be able to really face it. And I could totally agree with Justin to maybe go into when do we need to activate or not this kind of element, and with what model possibly also if we use models in coaching. And of course, breakout rooms also to be able to discuss it and exchange, because collective intelligence brings so much. So there.
Yeah. Yes. Agree. More time or less content. Yes. Okay. Super. It's 6. We are on time. Thank you so much, everyone. Really, truly, for joining, for spending the time, for also being courageous enough to move, to express, to shout, to do all these things we are not used to do with a group of strangers. And if you want to stay in touch, I put my LinkedIn link into the chat. Also, if there is any other feedback that comes in your mind later on, I would always appreciate getting it, whether negative or positive. And wishing you all a great day. Lovely to see you, to connect with you.
Thank you, Katka, for hosting, and thank you everyone for attending. Have a lovely day ahead.